Hi, everybody.
Hello, I'm Ryan.
I'm Bethany.
And we are Ryan and Bethany Board Game Reviews.
And today we're going to be talking to you about Legendary Encounters, a Firefly deck building game. But before we do, let's get into our pounds and inches segment. And as you guys probably know, I like to make goals for myself. I like to just have something to focus on for every month. And sometimes I get them, and then sometimes I fail. Like I have failed. I just wanted to do 5 push-ups and I can only do 1 push-up, and I'm very frustrated because I'm trying so hard on my upper body strength and it's just not happening. But it's okay, because all I do is I just readjust my goal. So I will be getting 5 push-ups in before 2020.
Well, there you go. That is confidence. you can do it.
Okay, but enough about that. Let's talk about Legendary Encounters, a Firefly deck building game.
All right, this is a full cooperative deck building game set in the Firefly universe, or the verse, as it's known. Let's take a look at what that looks like. Here is the setup for Legendary Encounters Firefly. Now, in the show Firefly, there are 9 main characters, 9 crew members of the Firefly ship. You're going to play with 1 to 5 of them, but 5 of them are going to start out as main characters. The other 4 are going to make up this kind of crew deck here that you can buy cards from. This is a deck building game. Now, the character card you get dealt out is going to have a few things on it. It's going to have a health stat on here. It's going to have how much damage you can take. There's going to be talent cards. It tells you what your talents are. There's also going to be flaws that each character is going to acquire, and it tells you what the flaws mean. So those are the talents and flaws over here. They're blank cards, but each character card tells you what they do for you. Now you start off with, like most deck builders, a very weak hand of, some damage-giving cards, some cards that let you buy things, and one of those talents that we talked about. During each game, you're going to choose 3 episodes to play from the television show. And you're going to call them A, B, and C, based off of kind of the difficulty level, I guess. And yeah, you're going to play through 3 of them each game. Those are going to be kind of stacked over here. That is your game deck. Now you're going to have objectives for each one. So let's take a look at what this one might look like. This one says we've got to navigate the canyon, defeat somebody, and defeat somebody else. So you're going to put those objectives here. Now, these cards are going to fill in across what they call the verse, short for universe, if you're familiar with the show at all. You're going to fill in those cards across the verse. Once they get all the way up to here, you're going to push down into the combat zone. If they're bad guys, you're going to have to fight them, and they're going to dish out damage to you. If they're ships, they might dish out damage to the ship itself, the Serenity. So anything that's damaged is going to go in this area right here. There's also going to be points based off objectives that you complete, and those points can be used to upgrade Serenity. So those you can add here as well. So you're going to have, damage to your ship as well as ship upgrades. Now, there's a whole lot going on here, so I'm not going to give you a full playthrough or anything like that. Just as a quick overview, at the beginning of your turn, you're going to grab one of these cards from the episode deck, and you're going to put it there. You don't know what it is. Now, the cards are going to get pushed down on every turn, and once they get to that very last spot, then they come down to that combat zone. You can see what they are ahead of time by paying the scan cost. That's going to be using those fight that we talked about. You can scan them, flip it over, see what it is. Some of them have something that happens once you reveal them, and you do whatever it says. If they're good things, you get some good things. Most of the time it's bad guys, though, or things that progress the plot of that particular episode. You're also going to earn those credits that you can use to buy the different cards here. And there's always brown coats here, which are $3, if you can't afford anything else that's in the lineup there. There are going to be cards that give you certain benefits. They're going to give you more fight power, more purchasing power. They might have certain abilities that say things like get rid of flaws, or give out some talents, or prevent crew strikes, that kind of thing. There's also going to be symbols on some cards that allow you to trigger additional actions on other cards if you've played that same symbol beforehand. This one says you can repair a ship strike if you've played another one of those kind of microchip looking symbols before it on that same turn. You can use your combat to either fight bad guys or to scan that stuff that's there, or to complete things that might be objectives that you might have. If there are any enemies in the combat zone at the end of your turn, you're going to take either crew strikes or ship strikes based off of what kind of bad guy it is, and those are going to hurt you. If Serenity herself is ever full of ship strikes and you need to add a 5th one, you lose the game. If ever your character exceeds the amount of health they have, they are not necessarily out of the game, but you can call it unconscious, you're defeated. Other players, if they're still alive and they might have some healing abilities, they can remove strikes from you, and once that happens, you are back in the game. The only way you lose the game that way is if every single character is all defeated all at the same time. So you keep on progressing through those episode decks. There's going to be 3 episodes, and you get credits based off how well you did during each episode, and you use those credits to maybe give yourself some extra cards, heal off some strikes, gain some upgrades. There's a number of things you can do with them, but they cannot carry over from round to round, so you need to spend as much as you can to gain the most benefit for you and your team. So as far as winning and losing goes, you win the game if you've completed the final mandatory objective at the end of episode C. Even if you fail episode B and A, those are just kind of like plot things. They're going to help you kind of build up your decks and help you gain more credits to kind of strengthen your ship and your situation. So those aren't mandatory. You don't lose the game if you lose the objectives from A and B episodes. However, you lose the game if you do not complete that third objective, that mandatory objective for the third episode. You also lose the game if everyone dies. You lose the game if your ship takes on more damage than it can handle.
I really like how you have those main character cards, and then you have the cards that you're pulling from, are not the main character. So I like how you kind of get a taste of all the different characters in the game, whether it's somebody that you're playing or whether it's the cards that you're pulling from.
Yes, each one kind of has their own different flavor. Each one has its own different mechanics that adds to the game, whether it be in the form of the card itself that you're playing as or as the decks that you're buying from. I also really like the player mat. It's really helpful as far as playing the game. There's the discard piles go here, the piles go here. This is where the verse is set up, where you can, look at do all the scanning. Everything just kind of flows very well during the game.
I also like the flaw cards and how they don't stay in your hand. You play it and it's done. I mean, you can get more flaw cards, so more bad things can happen. But that particular one only hits you once, and I like that.
I really like the story element of the game. You go through episodes, like in this episode, of the show itself, Firefly, and you choose 3 of the episodes to play with. They get kind of increasingly harder as it goes on. Your deck is stronger as that happens, though, as well. And each one of those episodes has different objectives you have to face, different requirements you have to go through. There's different side jobs that are shuffled in based off how many players you play with. So there's a lot of variety, a lot of variability in the game. Plus in the deck builder, there's just a lot of different cards and the way it shuffles and everything too. So just lots of replayability.
So I'm super lucky because Ryan sets up and tears down like all of our games. I basically just have to show up to the table and then I can leave. I mean, not like I do that.
Yes, sometimes.
But anyway, this takes so long to set up that even I get frustrated. I'm not even doing anything.
Yeah, the setup on this one is kind of a beast. There's a lot of different decks you have to kind of create and set up, and you have to shuffle all these different things in and splice certain things into certain decks as you go on. It takes a long time to set up, a long time to get it organized the way you want it. But, I mean, that's just kind of how these kinds of games go. There's a lot of setup, and sometimes the gameplay itself is, equal to or just, very close to the amount of time it took to set up the game. So it's definitely a detraction from how often we play this game.
We love the Firefly universe. We love the space western, and we love deck builders. So the combination of bringing those two things together should be magical, right? Right? This is not my cup of tea.
All right, so I like this game a whole lot more than Bethany. But she's right that in a deck building game, there's a lot of other deck builders I'm going to grab first before I grab onto this one, possibly because of that setup time. Another thing is, if we want a game that's in the Firefly universe, we're probably going to choose Firefly the game, a game that captures that a little bit better than the characters and stuff that happens in this game. So don't get me wrong, this is a really fun game. I really like some of the legendary other games that we've played. It's just that this one kind of flies under the radar. It just doesn't really hit the table all that often because other deck builders are better, and other Firefly games are better.
But if you do like Legendary or Legendary Encounters, if you like that system and you like Firefly, you will love this game.
Yeah, I've played a lot of the things in the Legendary or Legendary Encounter system. Marvel, Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Aliens, and Predators. This one, obviously. And they're really fun. And if you like them, check this one out as well if you're a Firefly fan. Don't let the setup time scare you too much. Just be aware that Yeah, it's going to happen.
All right. Well, thanks for watching. If you want to see our reviews as they come out, subscribe to our YouTube channel, Ryan and Bethany Board Game Reviews. You can also follow us on Facebook under the same name. You can also reach out to us on Twitter. That's Ryan and Bethany 1. If you want to see the games we're playing as we're playing them, you can follow us on Instagram under Ryan and Bethany. And then lastly, if you want to see a kind of behind the scenes of how we're trying to achieve better health in our lives, follow our blog on Board Game Geek under Pounds and Inches.
All right, well, thanks so much for tuning in, guys. We'll see you next time.
Bye.